Sarah Martinez gently smoothed the fabric of her plain blue dress as she stepped into the Grand Plaza Hotel. Her heart beat a little faster than usual. It was her daughter Emma's wedding day, a moment Sarah had dreamed about since Emma was a little girl. Even though she had some worries, she couldn't help but smile. The lobby was bright and grand, full of sparkling chandeliers and polished marble floors. Everything looked expensive and elegant, just the kind of place James's wealthy family, the Thompsons, would choose for their son's wedding. "Mom." Sarah turned and saw Emma walking quickly toward her. She wasn't in her wedding dress yet, just jeans and a blouse, but her face lit up when she saw her mother. "You made it," Emma said, hugging her tightly. "Of course I did, sweetheart, I wouldn't miss it for the world." But as Sarah held her daughter, she could feel the tension in Emma's body. Something was wrong. Emma pulled back slightly and glanced around nervously. "Mom. I need to tell you something." Sarah's smile faded. "What is it?" "James's mom made some changes to the seating. She moved you to a different table." Sarah's stomach tightened. "Where?" Emma looked down. "To the back, near the kitchen doors. She said it's because of the photographer's setup, but I don't think that's the real reason." Sarah took a slow breath, trying to stay calm. She'd had a feeling this would happen. Patricia Thompson, James's mother, had taken control of the wedding planning early on and made it clear she didn't think much of Sarah. She dropped hints about keeping things elegant and avoiding awkward situations. Still, hearing it out loud hurt. Before she could respond, a sharp voice cut through the air. "Emma, we don't have time to waste. You should be in the bridal suite by now." Patricia walked over briskly, her heels clicking on the marble floor. She barely looked at Sarah. "Oh, you're here," she said flatly. Sarah gave a polite smile. "Yes, the hotel looks beautiful." Patricia's own smile was thin and cold. "We wanted everything to be perfect for the couple." She turned to Emma. "Your hair appointment started 10 minutes ago. Let's go." Emma looked at her mom with worry. "I'm sorry." "It's okay," Sarah said gently. "Go enjoy your day." Emma gave her a grateful look and followed Patricia toward the elevators. Once Emma was out of sight, Patricia turned back to Sarah, her tone changing completely. "Let's be honest, Sarah, you don't really belong here. This is a high-profile event. Important people are attending. We need to maintain a certain image." "I'm here to support my daughter," Sarah said calmly. "And you can do that from the back," Patricia said sharply. "We've also asked the hotel staff to eat at your table." It felt fitting. With that, she walked away, leaving Sarah standing in the middle of the grand lobby, alone. For a long moment, Sarah didn't move. The sting of humiliation burned deep in her chest. She thought of all the years she'd worked long hours as a nurse, all the nights she stayed up helping Emma study. She'd done it gladly, never expecting thanks, only wanting her daughter to succeed. But now, none of that seemed to matter to the Thompsons. They didn't care who she was or what she had done. All they saw was someone who didn't fit their world. Later, Sarah walked into the ballroom where the wedding would take place. It was stunning, everything glowed with beauty and wealth, but when she found her assigned seat, her heart sank. Her table was half hidden behind a pillar, tucked beside the noisy kitchen doors. She wouldn't be able to see the ceremony properly from there. "Mrs. Martinez?" A young woman wearing a hotel staff uniform approached her. "Hi, I'm Jenny. I was told you'd be seated here." Sarah nodded. "That's right." Jenny hesitated. "I just wanted to say something. My sister was at County General last year, during the highway accident crisis. You stayed for over 30 hours, didn't you? You saved her life." Sarah blinked. "I remember that night. All the staff here, we know who you are. We think what they're doing to you is wrong. If there's anything you need, just say the word. We're on your side." For the first time that day, Sarah felt her confidence return. She gave Jenny a small smile and reached into her purse. There was still one move she could make. She pulled out her phone and dialed a number she hadn't used in months. "Hi, Marcus, it's Sarah Martinez. Remember that favor you said I could call in any time? I think today's the day." The room had fallen quiet. Everyone turned their heads when they heard a voice from across the ballroom. "What's going on?" Sarah didn't even have time to respond. Before she could open her mouth, a familiar voice called out warmly. "Sarah, there you are." It was Marcus Chen, walking in with confidence and smiling like he was greeting an old friend, which, of course, he was. Patricia turned around sharply. Her eyes went wide. her face tight with confusion and disbelief. You two know each other? Marcus let out a little laugh, the kind of laugh people give when they're surprised someone would even ask. Know each other? He repeated. Sarah Martinez saved my daughter's life last year. She diagnosed a rare condition that even our best specialists missed. She stayed by my daughter's side all night, personally checking her vitals, comforting her, and making sure nothing was overlooked. He turned to Sarah, his expression soft and respectful. I told you then, didn't I, that if you ever needed anything, ever, you just had to ask. And I meant it. The crowd started murmuring. Faces that once looked smug or disinterested now looked shocked, confused, even a little ashamed. Sarah saw it clearly, the moment when the truth began to sink in. People were realizing that she wasn't just some single mom in an old dress. She was someone who mattered, someone who had changed lives, including lives that many in that room thought were far above hers. Marcus kept going, his voice calm but loud enough for everyone to hear. Sarah also sits on the board of directors for our hospital group's charitable foundation. She's helped guide millions of dollars in funding to clinics and programs that serve poor and forgotten communities. When she called me today and told me how she was being treated here, by the staff, by the wedding organizers, by family. He shook his head slowly. I knew I had to come. Patricia looked like she'd just swallowed a lemon. Emma stood beside her mother, wide-eyed, her voice barely above a whisper. Mom. I didn't know. Why didn't you ever tell me any of this? Sarah gently took her daughter's hand. Because, sweetheart, I wanted you to find your own way. I didn't want my name or my work to get in the way of your choices, but I also won't stand here and let anyone treat us like we don't belong. Patricia's voice cut through the air suddenly, high and angry. This is ridiculous. You can't just barge in and shut down our son's wedding. Do you have any idea how much we spent? Sarah stayed calm. Her voice was cool, steady, and full of quiet power. I'm not shutting anything down. She gave a small nod to Marcus, and at that signal, something amazing happened. A new group of hotel staff came through the doors, smiling, professional, respectful. They started moving in fresh tables, new serving carts, and redoing the room layout. In minutes, the space began to change. I'm taking over, Sarah said simply. The wedding will still happen, if Emma and James want it to, but under new management, and new seating arrangements. There was a long silence. Then James, who had been watching everything quietly, stepped forward. He looked shaken, but also deeply moved. Mrs. Martinez. I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I had no idea my parents were treating you this way. He turned to Emma, his voice soft but serious. And I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you, or for your mom, sooner. Emma's face crumpled with emotion. She turned to her mother, eyes wet with tears. Mom, I'm sorry too. I should have said something. I should have done more. Sarah pulled both of them into a hug and whispered gently, no more apologies. This is still your day. Let's make it a good one. Then she turned to the room and raised her voice slightly. Anyone who wants to stay and celebrate Emma and James's wedding is welcome. But let me be clear, in this room, everyone is equal. Everyone is family. The tone of the day shifted in that moment. The air felt lighter. The judgment and whispers were gone. The Thompson family, now quiet and embarrassed, slipped toward the back of the room. Meanwhile, guests began smiling more freely, talking openly, and relaxing for the first time all day. Emma, standing by her mother, looked proud, glowing in a way she hadn't before. The ceremony started later than planned, but no one seemed to mind. It felt real now, heartfelt and warm. Sarah took her place in the front row, where she belonged. Jenny, the young waitress from earlier, winked at her from across the room. Sarah smiled back. But the day wasn't over yet. One more surprise was coming. At the reception, the music played softly as people chatted, laughed, and enjoyed the food. Patricia sat at the very table she had once reserved for Sarah, now far from the center, next to the kitchen. She looked lost. Her husband, Richard, was glued to his phone, probably panicking about the fallout. Sarah noticed but didn't say anything. She didn't need to. The truth had spoken for itself. Mrs. Martinez? James walked over to her quietly. Can we talk for a minute? Sarah nodded and followed him to a quieter corner. He looked nervous, but his voice was steady. I've made a decision, he said. I'm stepping away from my job at my family's hospital. Sarah raised an eyebrow. James, that's not something you have to do because of me. I'm not doing it because of you, he said. I'm doing it because of what I saw from you. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I never really wanted to be an administrator. I want to go to medical school. I want to help people, like you do. Sarah's face softened. Emma never told me that. I was too scared of disappointing my parents, but after today, I realized I've been living for them, and I want to live for me. Before Sarah could respond, Marcus returned, standing beside a tall, elegant woman in a navy blue coat. Sarah, he said, there's someone here who wants to speak with you. The woman smiled as she approached. Sarah Martinez, she said warmly, I'm so glad I could make it, better late than never. Sarah's eyes widened. It was Dr. Catherine Reynolds, the state's health commissioner. Patricia and Richard suddenly stood up and nearly ran over. Commissioner Reynolds, Patricia said breathlessly, what a surprise, what an honor. Dr. Reynolds didn't even look at her. I'm here to speak with Sarah. She turned to Sarah and smiled. We reviewed your community health proposal, and not only are we approving it, we're doubling the funding. Gasps rippled through the room. But more than that, she added, I'm retiring next year. The governors asked for recommendations for my replacement. She looked at Sarah with purpose. I'd like to put your name forward, if you're interested. Emma clutched her mother's arm, stunned. Mom, you never told me any of this. Sarah smiled gently. I didn't do this for praise. I did it to make things better, for people like us, for people who don't get chances. I just wanted to help, and now, I think I'm ready for more. Patricia sputtered from behind. She's just a nurse. Dr. Reynolds spun around slowly. She's exactly the kind of leader this state needs. James stepped up beside her. And I want to help too. I'm applying to med school. Patricia's face twisted in disbelief. What about the family business? No more of that, James said calmly. I'm starting a new chapter, just like Emma, just like Sarah taught us. The rest of the night was filled with joy, laughter, music, and a freedom that hadn't been there before. The Thompsons kept to themselves. Their voices were quiet now. Sarah, on the other hand, was surrounded by people who wanted to learn from her, thank her, and be inspired by her. Jenny reappeared, handing her a glass of champagne with a playful grin. My sister always said you were an angel, she whispered, but I think you might be a ninja. Sarah laughed and took the glass. Maybe I'm both, she said. Because sometimes, the best revenge is simply standing tall and letting your life speak louder than anyone's judgment ever could.